Isn't it strange that we associate new ideas, multiculturalism, and diversity exclusively with big cities? However, being born and raised in a big city called Lahore in Pakistan, I've had different thoughts about my experience in big cities. Lahore has a population of 11.3 million people, far extensive than even New York City. But contrary to popular perception, everything in Lahore, everything in my city looks, sounds, and tastes the same. There is one predominant language, Urdu, one main religion, Islam, and there's a variety of food available 24/7, but it solely represents the Pakistani culture and traditions. Just to give you a little glimpse of what the streets in Pakistan looks like, this is a picture of what the streets are usually like in Pakistan. It's always filled with people and different stuff. And to show you how food and the local food looks like in Pakistan, this is called a spicy kabab. It contains a mix of ingredients, which, if, for instance, as you taste it, you get a sense of its ingredients. It's made up of garlic, salt, pepper, lime juice, and a couple of other ingredients. Slice some onions on top of it, grab a soda, and you got yourself a small meal which you will never forget. This is one of my favorite desserts. It's called Jalebi. It has a fancy name. It's one of the most popular ones over there and very simple to make. You just deep fry the dough in a circular motion, and it's in a sweet or kind of in just a sweet syrup or kind of soup, and that's it. There you go. You can have it after that, and you can eat it like that, or you can also eat it by dipping it in milk for the best taste, especially in winters. And there are thousands of other foods available in Lahore, but coming back to my point, the local cuisine dominates the culinary scene in place of international food or international options. A typical Pakistani individual would not know what food outside Pakistan might look like. The clothes are also primarily typical in Pakistan, and they consist of mostly traditional clothes back home in Pakistan. As you might have seen in the pictures earlier, people usually wear this dress called Shalwar Kameez back home. One of my friends took this picture of mine back in Lahore. It will give you a better sense of what Shalwar Kameez looks like. It's available in all materials, all colors, sizes. You can have embroidery on it. It can be without embroidery. Some of them have collars, some of them without collars. So there are a variety of Shalwar Kameez found, and you can always make some custom ones if you want. And other than that, people also wear some other clothes which are completely based upon their personal preferences. But people mostly find Shalwar Kameez most comfortable to wear because, most importantly, it's first of all, it's comfortable, and secondly, it also reminds you of a rich tradition of your country, and it reminds you of your strong heritage of your country. Lahore has a vibrant and a rich lifestyle. But growing up with the same people, growing up and living with the same people all the time, it's kind of a monotonous thing because it limits your experiences and your growth as an individual. Because dogmas ruled our streets, intoxications were inhaled as air, and there was no limit to homogeneity. And above all, everyone's thinking process was eerily similar. This was my reality until I came abroad in Massachusetts to study in a small school, which was only a fraction of my big city, of my former big city, in terms of its size and population. Our student body, before that, tiny as it is, my school encouraged me to be a part of a community which consisted of people all around the world. Our student body consists of more than 45 countries and 37 states. It was here in this ostensibly small community that I realized the true meaning of inclusion. It gave me the opportunity to interact with people from different cultures, backgrounds, and traditions, and who speak a range of languages, practice other faiths, believe in unique ideologies, and represent different identities as a whole. I vividly remember my first day over here. It was a sunny morning, and international students came with their luggage and their excitement. We all gathered at the arts building, and we played some exciting icebreaker games to get to know each other. And we formed an instant connection with each other because we all shared one common ground, the appetite to appreciate diversity in all forms, shapes, and sizes. This diversity in our background did not stop us from creating meaningful relationships with each other. In fact, we proudly engaged with each other and cultivated a sense of empathy and understanding to understand perspectives which are completely different than ours. This inclusive environment allows us to represent our heritage and simultaneously allows us to develop a compelling interest to explore our peers' multicultural roots. This is a picture of mine which was taken a couple of days after I came to the school. It's important in two different ways. First of all, it signifies the cultural difference between my country and America in terms of the dress code, most importantly. Because when you see mostly people in Pakistan, they'll be wearing Shalwar Kameez. But over here, you see the suit with a tie and a blazer, which is a popular attire, popular formal attire in America mainly. And secondly, despite being in a totally different community, I still have the opportunity to hold my flag proudly, hold my prestigious flag proudly, and present it to my community. The reality is that the opportunity for multicultural diversity could be created anywhere and everywhere, irrespective of the size of a place. Of course, there are other factors like economic mobility, but the opportunity to connect with people from different backgrounds, exchange ideas, converse freely, is agnostic of one's preference to live in a city, village, or a town. It's, in fact, to create purposeful connections, larger cities with more people is not always a prerequisite. In fact, there can be equally rewarding partnerships which can be born out of smaller communities of inclusion. Being thousands of miles away from home to pursue education is a blessing, but it is not as easy as it may seem. Being an international student in my school, it's been more than a year that I've seen my family. The last time I saw my family was in the winter break of 2019. It was initially hard, but I realized that within this process I got used. It made me stronger as an individual. And most importantly, during my time, my friends at my school made me feel welcomed, as if this is my second home. And spending time with them gave me the courage to celebrate my time at my school. Surprisingly, due to the excitement and fun on campus, there were only a couple of times in which I might have been homesick. Frankly, I don't even remember any at the top of my head right now. This is how time flies so fast. And other than that, but there's some other events such as race-based violence against the Black and the Asian communities, and let's say xenophobia against the immigrants, and a range of other cultural issues for the diaspora, which affected international students like me. And sometimes because of conflicts like this, when things are coming one after the other, sometimes you want to take a break, sometimes you want to forget about this for some period of time and relax with your family and friends. But I learned that the more I was pushed outside my comfort zone, the more I learned as an individual, and eventually the more I grew as an individual. And I was not the only one affected by all this. But the entire student body of my school was affected. And it's to each other's support and understanding that we were able to effectively deal with this. Case in point, it is in the small boarding school that I realized that I discovered the true meaning of inclusion. It is here that I comprehended the creation of common but differentiated ideas that encouraged me to think independently and invigorated me to step outside my comfort zone. I learned that the acreage of a place does not matter. What matters is having a culture of acceptance, empathy, and diversity, which makes every experience worth it. Fittingly, my former head of school, Dr. Curtis, said, "You make your school worthy, not the other way around." It is through these principles of diversity, inclusion, and openness that we may uphold this vision, that we may uphold this vision every day, 24/7, in our small community. Thank you.